Welcome back to the Competitor Talk. This is your host, Kyle Dangler. This podcast is presented by Loud Creative Works, and today we were fortunate to be joined by Marvin Clark, former St. John's forward. He also played at Michigan State in his time in the NCAA, and now he's going to be playing overseas in Belgium. So we'll be talking a little bit about his time at Michigan State, the transfer process from Michigan State to St. John's, and then also what he's been up to now, trying to improve on his game for when he goes over to Belgium and starts his professional career with the Kangaroos Mechelen. So definitely going to be an interesting talk. He went to the Final Four in his freshman season at Michigan State, so very well-known player, highly touted out of Kansas City, Missouri. So it's definitely going to be an interesting talk. So we're going to give him a call now, and we'll just get it started. Hey, Marvin, you're on the Competitor Talk. We're live.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah. So we just wanted to start off by saying congrats for your 4 years in college. We look forward to seeing you go professional. But we just wanted to start off with before you played at St. John's, you were at Michigan State. Coming out of high school, what made you decide to go to Michigan State, and how was your time there?
First I just want to say thanks for having me. What made me decide to go to Michigan State was honestly my best friend, which he was my point guard in high school. We played for the same AAU team in the same high school, which was Mocan Elite, which is a team that's a Nike graduate program from Missouri, Kansas area. And we played in the EYBL. And our high school that we went to was Sunrise Christian Academy.
Yeah.
That's based in Wichita, Kansas. And so we played together, built a really good relationship. And, that's my man and my guy. And, we had a lot of similar schools, and he decided to, go to Michigan State and, figured that would be a place that I would love. So I just, decided to join and play with my best friend. And that was really the biggest deciding factor in me going to Michigan State.
Yeah, so just after your 4 years of high school, you went to a prep school, and then you went up to Michigan State.
Well, no, I went to a public high school for 3 years, and then
the prep school
to Sunrise, and then decided to reclass and do a prep year.
Okay, yeah. So reclassing and doing a prep year, that's something a lot of kids have been doing these days. I mean, was the process difficult? Doing that extra year, or did you find it more beneficial going into college?
Well, it was I would say it was definitely beneficial. I would say the difficult thing about it for me was just leaving home. But being able to, realize that, I needed to do that for the betterment of my family and myself, it made it easier for me. And I think it's an adjustment that, a lot of kids need to make. It prepared me to be able to travel thousands of miles from my family as far as being in college and away from home. And then it also prepared me for the college level and knowing that, it's going to be a different level of work and a different level of intensity. And Sunrise Christian Academy definitely prepared me for that.
Yes, just speaking, you talked about how that benefited you. So now going into your freshman year, you set a Spartan record by playing in all 39 games in the run to the Final Four. I mean, going through that at such a high level and caliber team with Michigan State, so high profile with such a great coach and Tom Izzo. I mean, was it a difficult process for you, or did you find that you were easily adaptable to the game?
No question, it was a difficult process, man. I went through highs and lows like every freshman does. And then, just adjusting to, a Hall of Fame coach like Tom Izzo. And then, like I said, being away from home and, you're an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid being away from home. And for the first time, mom and dad aren't, around to watch everything you do. So, I think, all those juggling, all those things and figuring out, how can I help a team, help a program, that was the biggest thing. But I think it was definitely an adjustment that I had to make, but it definitely came with some hardships. I started out really good my freshman year, shooting the ball exceptionally well, doing a lot of things, to open the eyes of coach, and then I hit a little wall, once we got into conference play, and that was some adversity that I needed to hit, and I figured out a way to find my way back into the rotation. Yeah. And we made a run. And it was a special season. It was a season that I'll never forget.
Yeah, so, just playing for Tom Izzo specifically, as you mentioned before, probably a Hall of Fame coach, definitely. Just playing for him, obviously you're still progressing your game each and every day, but what do you think he did for your game, and your 2 years there that, you saw yourself progress over those 2 years?
He really worked wonders for me, man. He really helped, helped me change my life. I was already, a lot different than a lot of my peers as far as, the things I've been through and the things that I've had to sacrifice. But, playing for him, I don't think, if I didn't play for him, I don't think I would have had, the type of seasons that I had at St. John's or the impact that I had at St. John's as far as, being a leader. Being a blue-collar guy that's coming to work every day and is really focusing on getting better. He instilled so many different characteristics in me, to help that I took from his culture that he established at Michigan State, and just taking those little nuances and moving on to St. John's and trying to implement that within my teammates and myself every day.
Yeah, so before we start talking, about your time at St. John's, I'm just curious, going and making that run to the Final Four, what did you see in that team that, you didn't see in other teams, that you played? I mean, was the team gelling more, or was it just more of, the team was, you guys kind of clicked at the right time? I mean, what made you guys so successful in that run?
Well, like I said, just the established culture, man. It is just a great guy at, really pinning, I guess you can say, the team against him, but not in a negative way. Coach is tough and he's going to push his guys, but we all bonded throughout that process, and we formed a brotherhood and relationships that are still unbreakable to this day. And I think just how close knit of a group that was that year, man. It was really special. We started the year, pretty decent, and then in conference play, man, we took some slugs, and people were really questioning us and claiming us to be front runners, and really saying we were going to be the team to kind of ruin his streak. As far as getting to the tournament, we took a couple of home losses. I remember one that we took to Texas Southern, which was big, and people were kind of say we were a bubble team, but we had a team meeting, and I think that like I said, that this comes from Iz and just the impact that he has on his guys. Our senior leaders that year, called a team meeting, and we talked about our season, and we really locked in and decided to sacrifice a lot of things off the court and really lock in on the court, and we turned it around. We turned it around ASAP, and that run was magical. We didn't have the most talent, but we just really cared for one another and didn't want to let one another down. In that we made a huge run, deep run to the floor.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Just talking to you, going to the Final Four. I mean, just that must have been an amazing experience for you. But then after that, going to St. John's. Just before we talk a little bit about why you chose St. John's, I'm just curious. sitting out the year between Michigan State and St. John's, because of NCAA transfer regulations, how much did you practice, and then how much when you got on the court, did you see yourself kind of a little bit behind in the process, or did that year off help you, or how did that go for you?
Well, that year was very, very important for me. As far as transferring, I just wanted to. I don't know. It was just a gamble that I had to take, and a bet that I had to take, just betting on myself, and I just wanted more. I wanted a little more for myself. I love Coach Izzo and love that program, and we still talk to this day, and he still allows me to come up there to this day. But I just wanted more for myself, and I felt like the role that I was playing there my first 2 years wasn't going to be enough for me to be able to continue my career as far as being a pro. And I just took the gamble and took the risk. And Coach Matt Abdamasi, he recruited me in high school when he was at Iowa State. And honestly, I would have gone there had Fred Hoiberg not had left and went to the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. But I don't know. I just, he was there, and that was a relationship that I already had, and already had built. And then it's impossible, to turn down a chance to play for, arguably two of the best guards to ever touch a ball in Chris Mullin and Mitch Richmond. Yeah. So. And then, the energy and life of the city in New York, man, it was all just, I feel like it was a perfect situation. And then I had, a guy, Justin Simon, who was a talented, guard who was coming in with me. So I wasn't going to be in the fight alone. And that was definitely an important year for me, man. I needed to regain a lot of my confidence and really just, figure out am I good enough? Am I good enough to really play at a high level? And really have success at that level as far as being a guy that's really depended on throughout the season. So that year, man, I know guys kind of, want to transfer and play right away, but, especially to younger guys, man, if you're looking to transfer, man, just take that year as serious as possible. And I used it for me just to get better mentally, work on my game, and to get my body right. I was coming off an injury at Michigan State where I broke my foot, so I was really trying to figure out my body and really get my body right and able to sustain a season where I'm going to be used a lot more. So that year is definitely imperative, and I definitely think guys should really look at that. Even if you're not transferring and you're a young guy going to college, even looking at a redshirt year, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, so doing that, year sitting out, I mean, were you in the gym a lot practicing with the team?
Yeah,
or?
Well, I was definitely practicing with the team, but we weren't able to travel. So a lot of stuff, we had to do on our own or had to work out with people that they assigned us with. But me and Justin, we were definitely putting a lot of work in, just working on our game. For me, I really, put a lot of work into my shooting. Which paid off tremendously to me. And then just working on my complete game, just working on all the little patches of my game. The game is becoming positionless, so the more that you're able to do on the court, the longer that you'll be able to stay on the court. So that was just my vision with that, and that's been my vision since then. Is just to work on all facets of my game and be the most complete player that I can be.
Yeah, so, just doing that with Justin Simon, coming in, did you feel that, having someone there to push you and, be around with, when the team was traveling, helped you more than, if you had to do it on your own?
Definitely. I've been through a lot of adversity in my lifetime, so if I was there alone, I think I still would have, definitely would have still put that work in, but just having somebody, that was going through similar things that I went through, at my other program, and then, having that guy, to have my back, he's my road dog, and we created a crazy bond, through that time. It was hard though, I'll say this, when you know that what you can bring to a team can help a team, that's the hardest part, I would say, because, you don't want to feel selfish, but at the same time you feel selfish because you could definitely help out that team. Like I think about that team that year, which would be Coach Mully's second year coaching. Yeah. And they had a pretty talented team, pretty talented backcourt in Marcus Savin and Shamari Pons. And I just think about, the different dynamic me and Justin would have brought to that team. I think we would have had great success that year. But that I would say that's definitely the hardest part in the process, man, is knowing that you can impact and help a team, but you can't do it.
Yeah. So, just getting on the court, the following year, I mean, taking on that leadership role, you mentioned before, you wanted to go out of somewhere else from Michigan State just because, you wanted that bigger role. Coming into St. John's, with such high expectations with Shamori Pons there and Coach Chris Mullin, I mean, do you feel that taking on that leadership role was difficult for you? Or, kind of, being at Michigan State, you saw what guys were doing and that helped you in the process? How did that go for you?
I would say, that's honestly depending on my teammates, but I would say it went great. I'm the oldest of 6 children, so I've always been a guy that's kind of been in that leader role. But at Michigan State, there were just, guys that were obviously, like I think of guys like Denzel Valentine, Travis Trice, those guys, Matt Costello, Brent Forbes, those guys really were upperclassmen, and those were guys that, I watched every day. They worked their butts off every day. And, did the right things on and off the court every day. And, trying to work and emulate what those guys, taught me was honestly what allowed me to step into that role and embellish it. I would say it was pretty good, though. Right off the bat, I hit it well with the guys, even in my sit-out year. Like, the sit-out year, I was still a team leader. Just obviously wasn't playing, so... But I think, guys really, once I got there, guys latched on to me, and I tried to, take guys in and tried to, show them what those guys passed down to me at Michigan State. So I would say that year definitely went great, man. And as far as accepting that leading role.
Yeah, so just getting there, taking on that leadership role actually on and off the court. You averaged 12.5 points your first year, 4.7 rebounds. I mean, taking on that role, second ranked on the team with points per game. I mean, did you feel by doing that, also it helped yourself, but doing that for the team, kind of gave you an extra chip on your shoulder?
Most definitely. First and foremost, I never want to let myself down. But like I said, in that Final Four run, man, that's not wanting to let your teammates down, man. It brings out a different energy and a different life in a team and in an individual. And that was something that I just didn't want to make the year that I had just sat out. I didn't want to put that to waste, and then I didn't want to look back and be like, dang, what if I would have stayed at Michigan State?
Yeah.
Or, and those two things, along with me wanting to come to St. John's and help get it back to prominence as far as, making sure, that I'm doing my best to make Coach Murray look good. Those three thoughts, they stuck in my head, and those, really kept me going and kept me fighting, and I really feel like I had, two of my most productive years in a St. John's uniform.
Yeah, so what do you think, personally for you, averaging, 12.5 points and then, shooting 41.1% from three-point range? I mean, do you feel that, coming into that year, your three-point shot was lacking, or do you feel that, you always had the three-point shot? I mean, what were you trying to improve on, and then what did you see on the court that you felt you improved on the most?
To shoot it. Always been able to shoot it. Always been an efficient player. But that year I don't know. I just wanted to prove that I could do more than what I was doing.
Yeah.
In my previous years at Michigan State. And Coach Mully and Coach Greg and Coach Mitch, they put me in some pretty good positions to do so. I look back to my first year playing at St. John's, and that was my most productive year. And that involved scoring on all three levels. They would post me up, bring me off screens, pick and pop game, being able to push in transition. They just allowed me to just really play my game, and I think that speaks to, that's a direct correlation of what I just, what I said. I wanted to work on all facets of my game and being the most complete player that I can be. Now, that year, I definitely felt like I could have rebounded better.
Okay.
But when you got great rebounding guards like Shamari Pons and Justin Simon, who come in there and steal those rebounds, it's definitely makes it harder. And in the role, especially the previous role that I played my senior year, a lot of that was just me to keep the five man off the rebound. So, but rebound is definitely something that I feel like I can definitely continue to improve at. And at the pro level, it's something that just along with scoring, defending, being a great rebounder is something that'll help me make a lot of money.
Yeah, so just going through that year, you just mentioned a little bit, that was your most productive year at St. John's. But then going into your senior year, I mean, by no means did you have a bad year. I mean, you surpassed the 1,000-point mark in your St. John's career, and you averaged 10.5 points per game. I mean, do you think for yourself that you took a step back, or do you just think you took a different, mindset and different role for that team? Because, going from one team to another, any year can change. I mean, what did you think your senior year did for you?
Well, I think, we added some big pieces, and LJ Figueroa, Mustafa.
Yeah.
And then you have a great scorer like Smart Pons. And then, we lost our big, C.D. Keita, who went down to injury. So I just think my role just got reduced, and I was, counted on to do other things. And, at that time, it was just, guarding other team's biggest player, being a pace and space guy. My coaches wanted me to space the floor out, for those three great scores that I just mentioned. And I personally felt like I took a step back shooting the ball. I think my rhythm was just, I just could never really catch that rhythm, that consistent rhythm that I had my first year, my junior year playing for St. John's. But all in all, I learned a lot. In taking a step back as far as my numbers, I just feel like my role changed, and I learned a lot. Having to play the five, you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about what you're made of, and battling with those big guys, throughout the whole game. That really takes a toll on you, as far as what you do offensively, and then foul trouble, man. It was hard. It was hard playing the five because you just get put in tough places. You get put in tough places, and you get some cheap ones called on you.
Yeah.
I definitely could have been smarter in a lot of my fouls. But I'm just a hard nosed, tough guy, man. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy. So,
yeah. So just. Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, it's definitely, good to play like hard nosed. Obviously, it's better to do that than, play soft. But, I'm just curious, going from the Big Ten to the Big East, I mean, how much do you think the Big Ten prepared you for the Big East? By no means is the Big East, a worse conference, but, just at such a high profile, team that you were on, and also conference. I mean, do you think that time at Michigan State helped you prepare for the Big East?
Oh, no question. I was playing the four while I was at St. John's, and not St. John's, but while I was at Michigan State. And the bigs in that conference are footers, man. They're huge. So that definitely prepared me to be able to play the five spot at St. John's when needed. And like I said, I just take that. It's just adding another brick to my game, man. It's just about, like I said earlier, it's just about what all can you do to keep you on the floor, and having my senior year, me showing that I can guard fives, and being able to, we switched everything, so being able to switch and guard every position on the floor, I think that just showed that I have a lot more versatility than what was expected, I guess, and I definitely think that helped me add a brick to my game. Even mentally, not shooting the ball, because I personally feel like if I would have shot 41 last season, I feel like we would have had a lot more success, and I feel like I would probably, be definitely in contentions of playing on somebody's roster in the NBA.
Okay.
But it happens. Things happen. People have slumps, and I think that helped me mentally. As far as things not always going my way, but just knowing that, hey, I'm gonna still come to work and play as hard as I can, and with last year, especially with my performance, just knowing that, hey, every game I'm coming out here, I'm giving it my all, and the ball might not always go in the hoop, but Marsh he's definitely gonna be sweating because he's out there playing his tail off. So that definitely helped me mentally and physically, as far as my game, being able to play the right way when things aren't going well, and learning how to guard every position on the floor.
Yeah, so just coming into your senior year, I mean, there was a lot of expectations for St. John's basketball. I mean, with Jamori Pons, you're back. Justin Simon was there, LJ Figueroa. I mean, not that you didn't live up to expectations because, you made the NCAA tournament, but do you guys, think, that going into St. John's that year, that you guys performed up to your expectations, getting St. John's back to the tournament, or do you think, there could have been something else that you could have done?
I definitely think, just because of the type of person I am, I think we could have done more. I think we could have been better. Just like I said, I feel like if I would have shot the ball better, we definitely would have had even better year. But even away from that, I just feel like we played down to the level of our competition last season. I think too far often, and even though we did some great things as far as getting St. John's back to the tournament, and I believe those guys will get back this year. We did some great things, put ourselves in some great positions. Won the championship in Brooklyn, that tournament, which is just really great. But I just feel like we played down to the level of our competition, and I think we took some slugs in conference play to Providence, to Xavier, to DePaul that we really shouldn't have taken. Yeah. But
things
with all
happen.
That being said, I still feel like we had a pretty good season. And,
absolutely.
I think we gave the fan base something to look forward to and something to cheer about. That they hadn't had in a long time. So being able to sell out some events and have a packed house every game was is something that I'll never forget. And as a result of that, it's St. John's definitely will forever hold a place in my heart, man. And anything and everything that I can do for that university, I will continue to do.
Yeah. So just going off the court at St. John's, you were named the Big East Weekly Honor Roll on the week of December 23rd, and then graduating this year. I mean, just curious, what was your degree in, and how important was it for you to stay all 4 years in college and get that degree?
It's definitely important, man. I'm a first generation.
Congratulations!
College graduate. So
congratulations.
That was graduating and walking across that stage, man, is a day that I never really really dreamed of, just because I had never seen it. I had never seen anybody do it.
Yeah.
And unless it was on a movie or a show. But being able to do that and accomplish that task, man, being able to have my family and my younger siblings there watching me do it, that's the biggest win in my career, honestly, because I just showed my younger siblings that they can do it, and to any other kid that has grown up like I grew up, being able to show them that you can do whatever you put your mind to, it's very special to me. I graduated with a degree in sports management with a minor in business.
Nice, awesome, yeah.
So,
it's definitely great to hear.
Definitely. I mean, I would be lying to you if I said if I wish I couldn't have gone to the league in 2 years or 1 or 3. But I don't know, that college experience, man. That's a time that you'll never get back, and I'm most definitely grateful that I got to go to college for all 4 years, and I'm thankful that I got to do it in 2 different programs and 2 different big time states, big time cities. Being able to play in East Lansing, and one of the most storied arenas in Breslin as far as college basketball goes, and then being able to play in the world's most famous arena in the Garden is something that nobody can take from me. Those are experiences and things that that I'll be able to remember forever. And I think that staying as long as you can, and as long as you need to improve, but getting that degree is big, man. I definitely encourage guys, whether you have the chance to leave early, to definitely try to come back and finish it.
Awesome. Yeah. So congratulations, just with, the degree and everything that's been going on with you. I just wanted to shift, to your professional career that's starting. Kind of what was your process, with picking, going to Belgium, and you're going to be in Belgium's top league. I mean, did you do a lot of off-season training after the season? Did you go to any combines? I mean, how was that process to get there? And, what are you looking forward to this year with them?
So the process, and honestly, you know, they made a offer, you know, pretty quick. Honestly, but the process, I took, you know, some time off, some well needed time off. Just as far as to get my body right, get right mentally, as far as getting back into to the grind.
Yeah.
And I signed with my agent Mario Scotti, who is based in Italy. 2 Points Agency. He's also one of the only NBA certified agents overseas. I signed with him because I really wasn't too focused on the league. Just the way the league is, it's becoming positionless basketball.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys are, getting opportunities, after they go overseas, So my mindset was, that I established for myself was, let's focus on getting a job. Let's make sure we have a job before I just try to shoot for the league, and then there's a chance I don't make it, and then I end up in the G League, and that's something that I honestly didn't want to put myself through or go through. So I decided to sign with an overseas agent, and Kangaroos Baskets, based out of Mechelen, Belgium. They made an offer, and I talked to coach, and he's actually he coached the Netherlands. He's a coach of the Netherlands when it comes to FIBA and world competition. And they I want to say, was it U20 or U19? I want to say they just competed for a championship. I can't remember if they won it or not. But just these previous weekends, they were competing. But just knowing his history, knowing what type of guy he is, and having that conversation with him, and how he wants to use me, and what he sees in me, that allowed me to help me sign with him. And my agent Mario Scotti, it's kind of crazy because I you talk about building up a resume off the court. I guess I impressed some people in the financial district, and people were there were some job offers.
Awesome.
As far as that, and I honestly thought about it. I thought about hanging up the shoes, but my agent Mario Scotti, he once I got on the phone with him, he was asking me if I was crazy or drunk. And he was like, man, you can make a lot of money. You still got a lot to give to the game, and I personally believe I got a lot to give to the game. So I decided to sign with Kangaroos Baskets in Belgium, and I personally believe that if I do what I'm supposed to do, I believe I'll have a chance to get back to the NBA. But even if I don't, I mean, I was just thinking, what kid from where I come from gets to travel Europe and play basketball professionally? Like that's something that I've dreamed of since a kid. So I'm definitely excited, beyond excited for this opportunity that I'm about to get.
Yeah, so did you do a workout for them? Did your agent just, set up the phone call? I mean, how did the process go for you to, pick them?
They
contact you? Or?
They keep tabs. They keep tabs on guys. Okay. And I'm a guy that's kind of built for that European game, 6'6", 6'7", strong, can guard multiple positions, can shoot it, can space the floor, can handle it a little, and skilled, can score on all three levels. And they already had previous knowledge of me. Mario Scotti, Bashir Ahmed, I don't know if you remember Bashir Ahmed, but Bashir Ahmed, who had played his senior year, was my first year playing with St. John's.
Okay.
He worked with Mario, and he got him to different destinations overseas. So I knew he had the knowledge of the market over there, and he's a very trusted agent over there. So they kind of just took his word, watched some film, and it was kind of a no-brainer for them.
Yeah. I'm just curious. You talked a little bit before about the G League and how you didn't want to go there. Kind of get stuck there. Just curious why you would rather go overseas than the G League. I mean, was it just your preference? Kind of.
Well, I would say first off, unless you're a two-way player, unless you get a two-way contract, from those teams, man, the money's not too great.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And then the tax on the money. If you're a G League, just a regular G League guy, and you're making $30,000, well, half of that's getting getting taken for taxes.
Yeah.
And overseas, there's no tax. There's no tax. I believe I have to pay my state tax, but I mean, I'm from Missouri, so that's definitely
not too bad.
That definitely won't take too much out of from my deal that I've gotten, and it's untaxed money. They pay for your apartment, pay for your car.
Awesome.
And then like I said, I get to travel Europe, man. Like everything's close knit. So, I mean, Germany's like 2.5 hours. France is 2.5 hours in the other direction. Italy is about 6 to 8 hours south of me. I'm in the middle of everything, so I'll get to see things that I've never seen before in my life. So I just figured like it's just a better payoff, and then I also get to learn the game from a European standpoint. And I mean, they if it's one thing I know, Europeans have definitely they haven't caught up to America as far as, because NBA is the number one league in the world, but just as far as knowing the game IQ wise and skill, I feel like Europe was definitely a great choice, and there's a lot of things that I'm still a sponge and I'm still growing. So I just believe that year, of playing in this league, and this is what all knowledge that I've learned from my agents and other former
kind of well around your game.
Belgium is a great country to start in. It's a great league to kind of make your name. Overseas, you gotta, it's not kind of like the NBA where you're young and you get handled this lump sum of change. Overseas, you gotta make a name for yourself. So
So just going into that, talking about your professional career. I mean, when does your season start? And what have you been? I mean, obviously, you're working on a lot of different stuff, to improve your game. But what have you specifically been working on?
Season starts, I believe mid to late October. I want to say.
Okay.
I have to leave. I leave and head there August 12th.
Okay. Oh wow.
Which we'll start, doing our off-season training with the team. And I've honestly, man, I've been working on my body. I've been trying to be the lightest, leanest, strongest version of myself. So, I've been trying to get down to about 220, 218 playing weight, and then, but still, remain strong.
Yeah.
And I want to do that because I want to be able to guard those ones, those twos, and then I want to be able to be as explosive as I can, and be able to impact, my team as best as possible.
Yes.
So my body, and then as far as, skill, handle, I want to be, our coach, he's going to plan to use me in ISO situations a lot. And through that, I have to, make some plays. So my handle and playmaking ability is something that I've been working on as well. And then just really finding that rhythm, in my catch and shoot game, and being able to, I can shoot mid range, man, very well. I have to start implementing that, that mid range game. So that's honestly what I've been working on, man. Just playmaking, handle, and shooting, honestly.
Yeah, so just playing in Belgium, do you play teams in other cities and other countries, and is it an 82 game season? I mean, how does it work over there? Just curious.
Well, I believe, I know they made the playoffs last season,
Okay.
so I believe we'll be playing in, I want to say, in other countries as well.
Okay.
I haven't really got the stipulations on how many games our season will have. But I know I'm trying to make it to the playoffs, man, because the further you make it, and the better you play, and throughout my contract, you have bonuses that you're able to make, and along with that, the further you make it in the playoffs, the more teams can see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my goal in that is, if you make it to the playoffs and you win your championship, you can have a chance to play in the Euro Cup.
Yeah.
And from there, that's where you play teams from other countries.
Okay.
even better teams from different leagues, and from there as well, where you get to where you can get a great contract offer, offers that'll set you up. So that's my goal in the process.
Yes, just final question before we wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. I just wanted to ask you, do you have any, timeline in your head, just talking about, playing overseas and then, your goals to get obviously into the NBA? Do you have a timeline, how many years, realistically you'd want to spend in Europe and come back and, play in the NBA, or do you not even think about that yet?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I haven't thought about it. Well, this year, it's an 8 month. I'll be over there for 8 months. So I'm gonna look to play the best as I can and have a really explosive year. And then next summer, I want to get I'll get with my agent and
reassess everything.
Try to reassess some things and see if I can maybe get a chance at playing in the summer league, which would be huge for me. And then depending on how that goes, whether I get a chance to make a roster and someone invites me to training camp, or if that doesn't happen, I wouldn't mind playing another year in Europe, for a bigger organization, and which would allow me to make some more money.
Yeah.
And then if my goal is to get back into the NBA, to get into the NBA. But if that doesn't happen, I wouldn't mind playing in the NBL in Australia. Man, that's a league that's
very prominent league now.
It's growing, and it's only growing and growing more. I feel like that's a league that's about to put the NCAA in a tight bind.
Yeah.
Just because guys are
starting to go over there instead of college.
Starting to go over there instead of taking those 4 years in college because they're being compensated. That's definitely those are the three things that I'm definitely thinking about throughout this process. So my first thing foremost is just making this 8 month bid successful and hopefully the most productive year of my career. And then from there, try to get on the summer league team. If that doesn't work, then try to play somewhere else in Europe or in NBL. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. So just kind of wrapping up. Thanks for joining us. Obviously you had a great college career. We look forward to seeing you play this year in Belgium. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on you. Hopefully we'll see you in the NBA. Within the next few years. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We wish you the best of luck and keep on grinding.
Most definitely. I wouldn't mind being back on. Maybe sometime. So
absolutely, yeah. We'll definitely try to keep in touch.
Most definitely. Sounds good, my man.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Yeah, so that was Marvin Clark. He's gonna go play over in Belgium for his first year of professional basketball. We wish him the best of luck. Hopefully, as I said before, we see him in the NBA. Thanks for watching.